You'll be happy to know that now that I'm clean and sober, the assisted living facility has given me these Meta Ray-Bans as a reward. So I am recording you while you watch me. Think about that, that's deep. But anyways, as the sirens go past, I want you to think about the fact that while you're playing with Luce Cannon's name, you better be careful because he comes from a long line of dangerous people. His father is on death row right now. George Brett Williams is condemned. He has been condemned to die since 1992. He was found guilty. So his case is actually also very important legally. It came back for resentencing in 2013 because, so if you know what voir dire is, that's during jury selection, the defense attorney, your defense attorney, or the prosecution, or your prosecution for all you government cooperators out there, can ask for jurors to be struck really for no reason. So, for example, if we find out a juror has a good reason to be struck, like, oh, you're related to the victim or something, then the judge will strike you. But they get a certain amount of each, the prosecution and the defense attorney gets a certain amount of people. They can just say, basically, I got a feeling that this juror can't be impartial. And in George Brett Williams, Luce Cannon's dad's case, there are 6 African-American women in the jury pool, or like the last at the end of the jury, when they were getting down to the final 12, and the prosecution struck 5 of them. Got rid of all the black women, and so that was a grounds for his appeal. And in 2013, it was, well, his appeal of the death sentence. And back in 2013, that was Supreme Court. It went to the U.S. Supreme Court, who rejected it. So his Luce Cannon's dad's criminal case went to the Supreme Court. Now, what was that case? Well, oddly enough, you know, Luce Cannon's dad was on his big U shit. So in '92, he and some other guys were going to buy three bricks of them things, 3 of them things, them kilos. And they went to a house somewhere on Spring Street in South Central Los Angeles. Spring Street is basically like, let's see, oh no, Spring runs north and south. So Spring runs out of downtown all the way deep into South Central. So somewhere on the east side, the bad side of South Central, Luce's father, George Brett Williams, went with a couple guys to purchase 3 kilos. And listen to this craziness. So earlier in the day, some guys testified that, the co-defendants testified, Luce's father tore up phone books to make the fake money, and they put it in a plastic bag. And oddly, you say, well, why would he tear up phone books? Oddly enough, I was watching a thing with a counterfeiter, and at some point before they changed the paper used in phone books, phone book paper worked perfectly for counterfeiting money. So, quick aside. But so he tears up the phone book paper and they make a fake bag of money. They meet in a gas station parking lot, but the guys don't want to do the deal. So Luce's father has them come over to this house that he was known for frequenting there on Spring Street. And the guys come inside. George, Luce's dad, puts the thing to him and makes him kneel on the ground. And he says, well, call. So the guy that they're robbing was a middleman, right? He's supposed to see the money and then call the guy with the bricks to bring it. That's the standard operating procedure. So Luce's dad is like, you know, make the call. The guy's on his knees and he has the phone. And remember, this is back in the days of the rotary phone, if you don't remember. There's no tone, like, he tries to dial, but the phone's not working. So he tells Luce Cannon's father, George Brett Williams, there's no dial tone. So Luce's his dad is holding a gun to his chest, and he kneels down to get the phone. And according to everybody's testimony, because he had no reason to, he accidentally shoots him in the chest, kills him. Immediately he realizes, well, no point in leaving this other guy alive. So he goes and pops the other guy, and he tells the co-defendants, oh, it was a mistake. I accidentally killed the man, so I shot the other guy too. So a pretty heinous crime. This was coming just in the months right after the Rodney King verdict and the riot or uprising or civil unrest, whatever you want to call it. So it's a very charged atmosphere. So this was the defense of the prosecution for them removing 5 of the 6 black women from the jury was coming on the heels of the Rodney King case. They felt that black women would not give the death penalty to a black male defendant. And in 2013, Supreme Court said, oh well. So that's an interesting side note. So his dad's case is, important legally. It actually made it to the Supreme Court. So Luce Cannon's father is also, this behavior we see of Luce Cannon, he's still on the phone, probably making up stories about fighting Brick Baby, like just seeking of attention and notoriety, even while something serious is going on. His bond was denied. They actually had handwritten notes in his detention hearing pointing out that, hey, this guy, what he's charged with is witness intimidation, extortion, going up to people. There's a video of him beating up Molly Mall on Sunset Strip. Luce Cannon is the poster child for, someone they feel is going to engage in witness intimidation. So he's not going to get let out probably ever. No, as far as pre-trial, no amount of surety. It's not that they're necessarily afraid he won't show up. They're afraid he'll do things. While he was committing the acts he's alleged to have committed in the United States versus Eugene Henley indictment, he had 2 orders of protection against him. Just like Brick Baby had orders of protection and was on some type of probation. So when you're committing crimes while under government supervision, the odds that they're going to let you out again or let you out while trial's pending are slim to none. His Hobbs Act violations carry 20 years. Luce Cannon has not been to prison. He's 44 years old. Kind of old to be getting in this type of trouble, which means, they're not lenient on middle-aged and older guys, because at this age, when you're doing this stuff, you're a real gangster. Like, this is what you do for a living if you're guilty. I'm not saying he's guilty. We don't know that yet. So the Hobbs Act stuff, I don't know why people are saying facing 15 years. He faces 20 years for the Hobbs Act. And if they hit him with armed career offender, which it sounds like they could, that's 15 possibly just to start. So using guns to impact interstate commerce, intimidating people. Big U, that phone call, or that when he was driving and turned himself in, all that stuff he said is going to be used against him. That was witness intimidation. It's got nothing to do with Luce Cannon, but point being, man, you got to watch what you say. Luce and them should really stop calling in. But what's he going to do with himself? He is like an addict. He's been getting attention, and lots of it, every day for the last several years. For him to go cold turkey be hard. So those guys should be careful. But so I thought, you should know Luce Cannon comes from a serious line of people, and his father's more things are interesting about him. So you've heard the phrase, rich rolling 60s, and you may have heard of these divisions, the overhills. I've driven through the rolling 60s area several times. It's a very large area, and there's different types of neighborhoods within the area. There's definitely some blocks that are rough looking, unsafe, like part lines of apartment buildings and shady people looking at you like, you wouldn't feel necessarily like, hey, let's stop and roam around. And then there's lots of streets, solid middle class, and then there's part of it, the overhills, which is blending into like Vista View or Ladera Heights, which are rich areas. Overhills is very upscale looking, especially by LA. I mean, those are probably multi-million-dollar houses. That's where Brick Baby's mother lives as well. Luce Cannon's dad, so he's known as this infamous rat. Supposedly when you get brought into the Rolling 60s, he's one of the examples of people to not be like, I don't see in this, I didn't read every inch of the case. I don't know a guy that's on death row, though there's a moratorium on California executions, like they're not executing people, but he's listed as condemned though. I don't see who and what he told on. I don't know. I'm sure someone will chime into the comments of this and say, but his dad supposedly was made into the Rolling 60s and the Athens Park Bloods, which is not too far away, but it's far enough away. They're not really next to each other. So I guess he was in two gangs at once, which is obviously a bad no-no, especially back then when Bloods and Crips were like beefing. But even now, how you going to be in two gangs, right? Especially a Blood and a Crip. Shows you what the mentality. But his father was, these guys like Luce, they have, you can think about them what you want, but obviously they have degrees of charisma. There's people that like them. I mean, Luce has been able to craft somewhat of a social media career. They're, his father is 6'3". They're big guys, I guess, intimidating, talk a lot. I mean, whatever they were doing, it worked for him to a degree. And his father was known prior to the double homicide that he's condemned for. His father probably that's what he told on. Don't quote me, but now that I think about it, because there was a case where he supplied guns to some gang members and a mother and a son were killed, and somehow he got out of that. So maybe that's where he snitched on all the Rolling 60s. I would imagine that was the case. And he was known, he had a 190E that he drove to the scene of the double homicide. So he was out in the streets getting to it. He was in two gangs. He was snitching and he was doing crime. So even after he had probably, I guess, snitched in some case on the members of the Rolling 60s for that gun thing, he's still out here setting up robberies and accidentally killing people. So truly, that name, I don't know what his father's street name was, but the name Luce Cannon kind of fits him. A scary person, like a dangerous, you can say what you want. Some of these guys that listen, the most antisocial people of all are the people that turn informant, snitch, whatever word you want to use, because they don't follow any rules, maybe even the basic rules of friendship and family. But I always say, and it's evinced in my studying of criminality, the most serious criminals are the most likely to work with the government. They're the most antisocial. If I would kill you because for $20,000, why wouldn't I put you in prison to keep myself out of prison? If I would shoot you because you're wearing the wrong color shoelaces at the hamburger stand, why would I not tell them the gang member I did it with did it instead of me so that I could go home? I'm already highly antisocial just for doing that stuff. So it shocks me that people are so shocked at people that tell, like, stay away from serious crime. If you're poor and you have limited opportunities and you're beating the streets to get some couple $100,000 to do something else with your life, hey, but don't break the law to make money to go throw it up in the air or to buy clothes to let some other men know that you're getting money. Don't break the law to shoot dice. Don't break the law to purchase them whores nasty for JJ. because them bitches is giving it up for bumpy face in a bump. Trust me. But back to George Brett Williams. So he is condemned. That's Luce Cannon's father. Luce Cannon said he's only talked to him a few times. You know, that really him being a rat has nothing to do with Luce Cannon. Luce Cannon, I doubt, is going to be any type of informant. He likes his social status too much. As Luce Cannon would love to be the guy in prison, even if he had to do a dime. Like, yeah, I was out there doing that wild shit and I held it down and I was on social media. Now, what will people in prison think about him? Again, in a legal sense, the stuff Luce Cannon talked about on those shows, I think some of it's not true. And it's not why Big U was in trouble. Big U was on wiretaps. Big U took marked money. But certainly all the fellas sitting in the day room in the federal penitentiaries watching Luce Cannon talk about who we robbed and this, that, and the third, I think, I don't think that he would be conforming from the YouTube interviews I watched with guys from the USPs. I don't think that conforms to expected protocol and standards, but hey, I ain't never been there and I don't know for sure. Nor do I plan nor wish to be at any U.S. penitentiaries. Shout out to all the guys in U.S. penitentiaries. For those of you that deserve to come home safe, please come home safe. For you lunatics, peace and blessings upon you. I hope your days are as easy as they deserve or as hard as you deserve. I don't know. Everybody ain't innocent. For those of you that are, or were overcharged, or who have done enough time, or who were very young, or who was mixed up in somebody else's bullshit, stay safe. Come home to your family. But we'll see what goes on. But and then Brick Baby's. We got to find out Brick Baby's mother's case. Supposedly she did some time in the feds. That's where he got his rap name, the Brick Baby, the son of the Brick Lady. And it's something I found that's interesting in studying black crime through the 20th century. Whether it's in Detroit, New York, here even in LA with gangs, even people that are not, it's not even about getting money, about tough guys. A lot of these guys are not from poverty. And I always tell people, beware the person that's in the street that doesn't have to be, right? So if you grew up in a decent household or an upscale household, now that doesn't mean you're learning proper things. It could be very antisocial. But if you don't need to be out here financially, but you are, it might mean you fucked up. And if a guy is in his 30s or 40s and he's been out in the street for a long time, clearly he's tough enough to stay out here. So steer clear, and often they're more effective criminals because they do have some time management. They know how to work with money. They know how to change their behavior to be around different types of people. Whereas if you're really, a child of the night, meaning like me, the all black comedians got the joke, you drive through the ghetto at night and there's little kids outside at 2 in the morning. Now, I wasn't outside when I was 5 or 2 in the morning, but I was outside at midnight when I was 7 or 8 at a liquor store in the hood because it was right next door to me. So if you are a child of the night, you might, is this guy giving me a ticket? Oh, no. You might not know how to act. Took me some years to learn how to act properly around different type of people. When I got to the University of Michigan, I had to learn how to turn down my behavior because you act crazy and you don't even know it. But that's another story. Luce Cannon's father, George Brett Williams, condemned. He was adopted at the age of 3. The Athens Park Blood neighborhood, again, I don't know about all of it, but part of it has like mansions or small mansions. But that's an infamous gang. Athens Park and Miller gangsters are, I guess, tied in together. And that was the guy that started UBN, Omar Mac Ortiz. Supposedly he had relatives that were in the Miller gangster bloods, and that's what he brought to the East Coast. That's all shrouded in doubt and mystery. But point being, That was he grew up in a big house. The people that adopted him were supposedly millionaires from, they had a big daycare empire, or like an empire of homes for assisted living. So but you know, that's people I know that have a lot of those type of homes in Detroit segued into it from the heroin business. So I'm not saying that George Brett Williams' adoptive parents were involved in anything, because I don't know, but you never know. I will tell you that I heard Frank's father used to be a big stick-up man of all the big dope men in South Central. Just thought I'd throw that in there. So you never know what goes on in people's households and who's related to who. But Luce Cannon's dad grew up in a wealthy mansion, was a member of 2 gangs at once, and then killed 2 people in a robbery by accident. Or the first one by accident, and then he, with no hesitation, murked the other one. So I guess the apple doesn't fall too far from the tree, as my mother's boyfriend used to say when my mother, who was crazy, would complain about her mother being crazy. Al Prophet, American Dope.